I'm certainly honored to be here at the Library of Congress Book Festival, but perhaps I'm even more honored to having been introduced by the extraordinary man, Dr. James Billington, a great man and a great librarian of Congress. Thank you. I will start at the beginning. As a child, I loved to read. In the mid-50s, life in the outer boroughs of New York City, in my case, the Bronx, was comfortable but provincial, and my curiosity extended far beyond the bounds of my home and school. I wanted to know more about people in other places, what was happening in the world now, what had happened in the past, and quite simply, how I came to be. Books were my passports, and I consumed them voraciously. But I came to writing later than most, in my late 30s, after having raised my 3 children. My generation, those of us born during and after World War II, numbered in the millions. And we were asking questions that demanded to be answered. We had come of age in the heat of the escalating war in Vietnam. And we didn't know why our brothers were fighting so far away for a cause that was so difficult to understand. And the role of women in society was changing rapidly. My friends, educated with traditional values, but a deep sense of personal ambition, wanted to know how to be true to ourselves, yet remain committed to our husbands and our children. As a young mother, I had stumbled into a bookstore and pulled Gift from the Sea off from the bargain shelves. Its author, Anne Morrow Lindbergh, was struggling with the very same questions that we were asking ourselves. Her answers were deceptively simple, and yet they rang true. And I wanted to know how this woman got so smart. And so, rising before dawn, I climbed the stairs to my 3rd floor room. Yes, dear Virginia, a room of my own, to read Lindbergh's work, to study its historical framework, and to jot down my thoughts before sending my children off to school. My biography of Anne Lindbergh would take more than 10 years to complete, during which I had the rare privilege of meeting her 10 times. But the book was more than a biography. It was a journey towards self-knowledge, during which I developed a consuming interest in understanding the lives of women, not only women thinkers, but doers. Women who were willing to enter the public fray and change the discourse. What were the qualities of person and mind, the values and loyalties of those women who succeeded, and what did they have to sacrifice to bring their goals to fruition? While researching the Lindbergh book, 2 names kept cropping up. Dorothy Thompson, an American journalist, and her friend of 40 years, Rebecca West, journalist, novelist, literary critic, and historian. They epitomized the kind of woman I was searching for. They played for high stakes, risking personal pain for public voice and influence. Think of it. 2 generations before the baby boomers were born, these women had the courage to slow off convention, defy social expectation, and catapult themselves into the public arena at a time of roiling political and social upheaval. And against the headwinds of their contemporaries, I mean, they were ridiculed, and with none of the safety nets we take for granted today. And to compound their struggle, they had no family connections, no money, and had fractured childhoods. Let me begin with Dorothy Thompson. Born in 1893 to English-Irish parents in a small bucolic town in northern New York State, she was the eldest of 3 children whose preacher father taught them first to love Jesus, second, to obey the Christian ethic, and third, to embrace the written and spoken word, in that order. But after the death of her mother when she was only 8 years old, everything changed. For 2 years, she helped take care of her younger brother and sister and to cater to the needs of her broken-hearted father. But when her father remarried, this rebellious and precocious teenager was cast out on her own. After graduating from college, she cut her teeth as a spokesperson for the women's suffrage movement. And then, during a short stint as a community organizer, she realized that she was fated for a life beyond the bounds of Cleveland and even New York. So in 1921, with $150 in her pocket, determined to become a foreign correspondent, she went to England with the desire to make her way through the wilds of Fleet Street. But what's remarkable is that within 5 years, she became the first woman to head a news bureau in Europe. Stationed in Berlin, she saw a world in chaos, and she hungered to understand the madness that seemed to be sweeping Europe. The public and political upheaval after the Great War, and the political landscape that was giving rise to ruthless dictators. She wanted to be a player, and she knew that as a woman she would have to fight harder, faster, and longer than her male colleagues. She would hound government officials, prime ministers, presidents, and earned a reputation as a reporter willing to do anything and go anywhere for the sake of a story. Thompson had the guts